is now.
Okay. Hello, good evening, people. Good afternoon, good evening, and hope you guys are doing fine. We are with our third chapter of Chai with Vinay, COVID Conundrum Part 3. And certainly we have some gorgeous people around the world who have joined us. One is Catherine Molloy, who's joining us from Queensland, from Australia. Then we have Indu Tyagi Ketan, who's joining us from Pune, and she's got a lot of stuff to share with us. And the host and the reason we are here together, Vinay Barigidad, who runs this particular show called Chai with Vinay. So welcome everyone. Thank you, Vinay. I will quickly run you guys through their profile. So begin with Catherine. Catherine is an international speaker and communication expert, specializing in leadership, sales and service. With 25 years of experience in business, training and facilitation, Catherine believes in creating effective, engaging learning environments through powerful communication techniques. Catherine has immersed herself into the field of communication and body language psychology. She's written many books, and she was recently acknowledged with a golden key for being in top 15% of academics in 400 universities as she completed her master's in leadership lots. So congratulations to you, Catherine. Then we move to Vinay. Born in Bagalkot, Karnataka, Vinay has been a rank holder throughout the school and secured 14th rank in Karnataka state in his board 10th exams. Vinay holds a bachelor's degree in computer science engineering from Karnataka University, India. He's passionate about exploring new technologies and applying them to solve business problems. In his 22 plus years in IT, he has successfully managed a number of large applications for a variety of domains. It is his vision and farsightedness that has made InfoVision Labs to be known amongst the peers as one of the fastest growing startups of India. He is the managing director of InfoVision Labs. Apart from that, he recently received Entrepreneur Award 2021 from Outlook. Congratulations, Vinay, for this one. Then we have Indu Tyagi. She is the founder of Ashtaang Wellbeing. She has spent a decade in healthcare business consulting. As a researcher, she has witnessed the changes, advancements, and evolution of medical healthcare technology, services, and products in her career. The consumption pattern and providers both were very closely observed by her, and Ashtanga is a conclusion she has arrived. So she started a new venture called Ashtanga, and she will be talking to us more on those lines. So let's begin, and I hope that this is going to be a. Oh, hi, hi, Michael. Oh, I didn't see you.
Ganesh.
Oh, so we have Michael as well joining in. A lot of hard work in getting him online. So I'll. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
Yeah. So a quick one. Michael is from my favorite city from Malaysia called Melaka. He's 47 years old, a businessman dealing in pharmaceutical products. Currently, he's an advisor of the Lord Karupar devotee group from Malacca, and he's involved in many Hindu Vedic ways of healing. So let us welcome Michael from Malacca, Malaysia. Hi, Michael. Welcome. Yeah. So let's move city-wise and let's take a quick roundabout on what's happening on the COVID front, and then we move one by one towards other aspects of the discussion. So beginning with Catherine. So Catherine, what's happening in Australia and how is it? How is everyone coping up with COVID?
You have probably heard Australia hasn't suffered the death toll as a lot of countries have. Being an island, it was quite easy, I guess, to shut down a lot of the borders. And of course, we don't have the population that a lot of countries have. So I'm in Queensland. We've done very well. We had the initial lockdown for 3 months, and we haven't been really locked down since. There was a time where we just had to wear masks for 1 week. So I'm sorry for everybody else that has gone through so much more. However, we have one state that continually goes into lockdown, and we had people in lockdown for around 26 weeks. So we are now building a centre for arrivals to come in Victoria to actually keep them there, because we have got 3 different strains, and the latest one is a very quick and moving one. They're saying it's from India, and it has transferred from South Australia to Victoria, Sydney, and we think there's one in Queensland at the moment. So, you know, it's ongoing, and but in Australia, you know, very grateful that we are doing well, but we want to be able to have the whole world do well as well.
Okay, thanks, Catherine. So I believe we started with this whole thing that this virus is creating a pandemic, but looks like it's become an endemic. It is not saying bye to us, which is creating a lot of havoc. But yes, there's an opportunity for businesses to transform, and let's move to Vinay and understand how the city and the business is coping up with the new normal. Over to you, Vinay.
Thank you, Ganesh, and very good afternoon and good evening, good morning to all the audiences. Well, the condition in India has been little varying. In the last couple of months, we have seen cases going up, cities getting shut down, a lot of businesses undergoing changes in terms of how do we adapt to all the things that are happening around us. So travel has been banned for quite some days now, and slowly we are seeing that the vaccination drive is definitely improving. The supply of the vaccination, the new centers that are opening up, and the people stepping up to take the vaccination has also been seen all around us. If I look at the number of the cases across the country, there is obviously a downward trend since last 1 month. It used to be almost 4 lakh people around mid of last month, but it has come down to 1 lakh today. So these are the numbers of the confirmed cases that we're talking about, which definitely is an indication about how the vaccinations is definitely helping the people. Yeah, as of today, if I'm not mistaken, almost 15% of the population has been vaccinated. I mean, again, these are the numbers that are available on any of the government websites too. And this is again what has been reported where the tracking is available. And almost for 3.5% of the population has gone through the second dose of administration too. So looking at all of these things, so the government has taken a step that, okay, let's open up, let's start giving more opportunity for the business to bounce back. So that is what is slowly happening. One of the things that I have seen over the last 17, 18 months of this entire pandemic is people have started adopting to different type of technologies. We have seen how the delivery business has picked up. We have seen how people are trying to do transactions over various means of technology, including the education that we were talking about a little while ago, where it includes from the primary school to the engineering colleges to the medical colleges. The technology has been adopted very well, very well. Teachers now know how to deliver lectures over Zoom calls. Students know how to attend Zoom calls. So education has been addressed to that effect. So slowly businesses are picking up. Manufacturing has been stabilized. We definitely see vehicle manufacturing, especially in Pune, is going on in full force. There is a lot of demand from the export market too. So that is the current situation, and we are seeing an upward trend slowly coming for the business and a downward trend for the COVID, so which is a good thing for us.
Wow. On that note, I would want to have Indu's views, because certainly she's also getting into a Zoom where she is getting more customers. She's doing telemedicine activities and stuff like that. So Indu, what do you give us some more nuggets on how you're running the show at Ashtaang?
Yeah. So Ashtaang was formed with a vision of treating all those people who are suffering from lifestyle diseases. Now we are in the pandemic, and suddenly we have made our primary diseases as secondary. We forget that hypertension is still active. We forget that stress and anxiety is still there. In fact, it has increased due to lockdown. We have forgotten that all those hormonal imbalances which were there in our bodies are still existing. So we should not forget and park these diseases aside, because pandemic is there. Yes, pandemic there, and such events happen, every 100 years. We have witnessed such events in past as well. But how equipped our current generation to pass on the right set of knowledge to our future generation? How prepared they are to treat themselves the way they should treat their bodies and minds, so that whenever something like that happens, their immunity, their healing system, their individual energy, their education, their ways of dealing with people and the environment around, and their ways of operating inside and outside. I thought it's time that we should devise something holistic, and we should place these holistic practices which have been thousands and thousands years of years back by our ancient scientists whom we call yogis, and we should pack it with some kind of modern technologies and place it inside. These technologies have not even done wonders in the lives of people who were dealing with it in the past, but now we have enough scientific backup. We have enough research papers and major universities coming up like Harvard and John Hopkins, who have invested a lot of time in collaborating our ancient science with the modern technology, and this is what Ashtang is trying to do. We at Ashtang, we have placed, 4 modules of physical, mental, emotional, and environmental well-being together, and try to deal not the disease but the individual. So that's what we practice here, because be it hypertension or anxiety or corona, right? You have power to deal with it with your immunity, but we do lack tools and techniques which you cannot learn swimming while you are already drowned in the water, right? So we need some preparation. So our entire mission is to make the current generation and next generation ready for any such thing, or to deal with the challenges of current lifestyles.
Correct, correct. So well said. I think I completely agree that today care has become extremely important, and there's no certain body of care. It can be digital, it could be physical, whatever it is. But the transformation in healthcare is happening. Let's move to Michael. Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Michael, you have been healing people and you have been interacting with a number of people till date. So, how do you want to summarize the whole journey of last year till now with reference to COVID?
Actually, for Malaysia, currently we are experiencing the third wave of this pandemic,
Okay.
and it's even worse than last year. Last year it was under control, but the government was flip-flopping, doing uncertain things, making very indecisive. You see, that they allow allow people to travel like interstates, interdistricts. There's no control of this gathering, no enforcement, what we call strict enforcement. And now we are experiencing triple digit deaths, which is actually much worse. And compared to last year by the hundreds of cases, right, we are now experiencing by the thousands. Right.
Okay.
The latest one was on the, if I'm not mistaken, on the 2nd of June, which we have almost what 9,000 over cases.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Oh.
currently we are actually going swinging up and down from 8,000 plus to 7,000 plus, and the vaccination drive by the government is slow rolling. But now they are doing a lot of this, what we call, opening up all these mega, what we call this vaccination posts for people vaccinated, in order to get this herd immunity by the year end. But then again, you see, variants, there are different variants now in Malaysia.
Okay. Yeah.
For the variants of concern, which are very aggressive in attacking. Because we also have a number of cases where the patients are brought in dead. before they even had the opportunity to be treated by the doctors, they are already dying.
Yeah.
And the youngest, if I'm not mistaken, is about 18 years old. Yeah, it's a very sad case.
So there was,
Yeah.
So Michael, I remember last year, mid last year, I read that there were 0 cases of COVID in Malaka.
Yes.
And certainly it was talked about, and in fact, I remember doing a joint venture with a hospital back in India that time to launch a knowledge sharing a platform called Share It.
Yes.
The objective was to understand how the Malaka healthcare system is coping up with having no COVID cases against how India needs to cope up. But I think now everyone has come to a level where everyone is facing a second wave or a third wave, and it's moving on. So I think what's more important is to adapt, to transform in these times, and something that we need to really work on is how we can come up with new as in face these challenges and make sure that it's workable for people around us and we keep the employment going on. So moving to Catherine, how did you manage to come out with a new book during the lockdown, and can you share some more insights about the book and how it looks and stuff like that?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So this is it, The Conscious Leader, the ultimate guide to leading a life worth living through crisis and beyond. So the book was started in 2017. I built a business in the last global financial crisis. And what I discovered was, so many people aren't really present. So we're working to the future. We know what's happened in the past. But, for those conversations for the planet, we need to be present. We need to start to really be conscious of what we're thinking, what we're doing. But what were some of the exciting things that came out of it was the book was supposed to be finished in 2019 with my publisher, who published the $1 Million Handshake. It was such a busy year in 2019. I said, I'll get it done. I think I flew from Egypt in March, landed in Australia, and that was the very last talk I gave. And everything shut down, all our stages, everything shut down. So I thought, right, I will finish the book. But what was interesting was 2020 allowed us more time to start to delve into what are leaders doing well, what aren't they doing well. So I've been in the leadership space for over 12 years, and of course, leading myself and teams prior to that. But I started delivering the Diploma of Leadership and Management back in 2009 when I built my training company. And I wrote units on, in enhancing your emotional intelligence and cultural awareness. And what was interesting was through the time of COVID, there's 3 things that I think we should really be conscious of, and that's conscious of self, conscious of others, and conscious of context. So, the human brain loves remembering those things in 3s. So there's 19 different, capacities with emotional intelligence, but you won't remember them. But if you can start to be a little bit more conscious of self, what are you thinking? Where are you? Because we react before we speak. So in 1/25th of a second, we've already reacted. And then we say something that may not match our reactions. And that is why there's so much miscommunication. So it does come from understanding self. But if we only focus on self, then we start to go down that tunnel that's not a good place. And for great mental wealth, we need to start to focus on others. What can we do to help someone else? Because you know what? When we do that, it takes the focus off us and allows us to think about doing something great for someone else. And so it really does, if you need to build that mental wealth right now, start to focus on what can you do right now, not what can't you do, but what can you do? And so, we have a look at that in The Conscious Leader, and the chapters are around, the first chapter, I love it because it is about self, but all the different leadership styles that you see in the world, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, so you can start to build your toolkit, because we're all individuals, but you know what? Sometimes there's some tools you need to take out. There are some things that you're using that don't serve you as a leader. And also, different situations require you to pull out different tools and different skills. So we sort of start there, and then we move into the SEALs, the conscious, emotionally intelligent leaders, break that glass ceiling and create something new to happen. We move into leading ourselves, leading others. And one of my favorites is language for leadership. That language that comes out through our body, our mind, how we can change that so that we can change the words that come out, change our actions, change those behaviors to create more win-wins. And so the conscious leader is really bringing yourself back to the present. And when, a lot of our Indigenous here, they would always, think 9 generations ahead. But they're present in the moment for what they're doing, how that affects that next generation. And I would really love to see the world. I think 2020 has made us stop. We've seen mountains that you haven't seen for years. We've seen a lot of different things that really, within 3 months of the world shutting down, there was almost a bit of a peace and calm that came around. So we can create this. The problem with the planet is very quickly, and human behavior is we go back to what's comfortable, to what we know. To actually introduce something new takes a lot of work and a different mindset, a mind shift. And so if we want to be more conscious of others and conscious of the planet and conscious of what we're doing for our future generations, we do need to stop and pause. And perhaps that's why this right now in this decade, it is being extended because we haven't learned the lessons yet.
True. I agree with you. So I think I remember reading a lot of self-help books, and what that time was preached to me was about mental health. But this concept of yours called as mental wealth is something that can be looked at very seriously, because post-COVID things have become extremely important to keep yourself sane in the changing times. So moving to Vinay, Vinay, you have been interacting with different kind of age groups, and it has been really challenging for the businesses, as well as there are more job opportunities. There are more people who want to try out innovation. How important is mental wealth for you?
Wow, that's a good question, Ganesh. Well, as Catherine was saying, right, it's very, very important to understand what goes within and how do we react to what goes outside too, right? And one of the things is, if you are able to keep yourself calm and understand what is going on with you and then react to everything that is happening around you, you will come out as a successful leader. So what I see is, without mental well-being, there's not much that you can do. You have to learn to compose yourself. You have to learn to understand the other person before you can take the next step of speaking. That is very, very, very important. Yeah. One thing that I have learned over the course of my experiences, when two people are engaged in a conversation, it's not always about me. It's about trying to understand what the other person wants, trying to understand what the background of that other person is. Because the way my upbringing is, and the way I have seen the world, and the way I have interacted with the various people in my life, that may not be the same life journey for the other person too. Their thought processes, their way of reacting to certain activities are going to be different. So I believe, excuse me. So I believe having that mental health is the most important thing in life.
Okay.
So without that, it's very, very difficult to deal with people, deal with your business, and you'll keep committing mistakes because you will be wanting to speak your mind without realizing that, okay, the other person may or may not be understanding what you're trying to tell them.
Correct. Okay. Thanks, Vinay. Indu, looks like you've already, mastered your thoughts on this particular topic, which is your favorite topic. So what's your insight on mental wealth?
So before I answer that, let's dissect these two words. Okay. Mental wealth, right? Wealth is something you are not born with. It's something you acquire, right? So how do you acquire? One is a natural process of acquiring. That's the genetic memory which you carry, right? Genetic memories is nothing. If Vinay's mother was cooking maybe uthapam in the morning, Vinay's favorite will be uthapam even after 25 years, right? So it's not only coded in your genes, it's the memory system, it's your childhood experiences which you acquire. And when you become an adult, it becomes a part of your mental wealth, you can say, right? Now, when we are talking about mental wealth, we are talking about human beings here, and we are talking about well being. So, well being is a term which is associated with human beings. Being comes from to be, to be, right? And the
Right.
choice of to be is only with humans. It's not there with animals or any other, in the evolutionary system. And that's where your consciousness, as Catherine mentioned, works. You are conscious being. You have all the expertise of acquiring and ignoring. So if there is a similar situation thrown to Vinay or Catherine or me, we all three are going to react very differently. But the fundamental emotions are same. Fear, flight, fright, fight hormones. They are going to act in a similar way. So if we can learn a tool or a technique to deal with our fundamentals and consciously choose to acquire the wealth, this combination works wonders, right? But there is an entire science behind it. You have to put yourself through a practice to make the fundamental changes in the principles which we are naturally born with, and conscious acquisition of our memory system. If you decide today, you can really alter it. So just let me give you an example. Diabetes, diabetic gene is in everyone. We all carry a gene of diabetes. You may not be aware of this fact. But even if you have diabetes, you have power to switch it on or switch off. And now we have scientific proofs behind it. So when we say mental wealth, we have your own choice of choosing it or not to choose it, right? So we all should not choose to become victims. And that's what we must learn as human beings, because we have a choice to learn.
Okay.
I hope I made the sense. I connected
Yes,
so many
certainly,
thoughts.
as a lot of bits and parts, but everything put together, I believe that every aspect on as extremely as important would make a lot of sense for mental wealth. Let's move to Micheal, because Micheal has been doing a lot of charity work and empowering youth. So Micheal, what do you think about mental wealth?
Mental wealth is important, especially during this pandemic where a lot of people are forced to work from home. All right, and the humans are social animals. That is why when you are being forced to live in the same household, right? If your family is an okay type, you get along, shouldn't be any problem. But there are cases of like abuse, wife battering. Even we have cases. I'm ashamed to say in Malaysia, where sexual assault on minors by the step parents. So this kind of things will create trauma, and we need to actually think of maybe maybe a better way, a better approach. Even though we may have helpline, but it is still not enough. And we also have lack of this expertise as well as experts to deal with this kind of trauma, because it kept on increasing. And on top of that, we're talking about depression and
Okay.
people committing suicide,
Okay.
right? Mm.
Okay.
Right.
Got the point. it's certainly important that we need to stand still and be vigilant all the time. Look at life with a positive attitude. And let's quickly move to Catherine. And I've been wondering, what is it that one thing that you thought of writing this particular book after your previous? I think both the headlines are completely different. So previously was purely on Handshake, the $1 million handshake. Am I right?
No, so the $1 million handshake is about the way you connect and communicate in business and life. And one chapter was around the way you first connect, and some parts on that, and the handshake is in that. But then there's body language, mindsets, behaviors, which is what we were talking about, like how important it is to understand, who you're meeting, to create win-wins. Also culturally, how to connect. But the book, people wanted me to keep the leadership for the leadership. So this then is all around how we lead through our mind, our body, our spirit for this decade. So, I'd just love to give you 5 conscious practices that could help everyone if we're talking about mental health, and to build that strong mental wealth is to be more mindful and not just mindful. Like, we have such full minds. We have over 70,000 thoughts going through our head every day, right? Like, oh, what time is it? And what do I have to do? And what am I having for breakfast? All these things, unconsciously going through, but we need to clear that and start to become a little bit more mindful, even of what we're watching, what we're hearing, what we're seeing.
True.
Spending that couple of minutes, so that's the first thing, spending a couple of minutes, every day at the end of the day, just self-reflect. Even if the conversation hasn't gone the right way, like, why has that happened? Self-reflection is a huge part to build some great strategies for yourself and to start to understand that everything dominoes from us. Have I got a minute to show you something quickly?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So this is how fast we miscommunicate in conversations. So my husband and I were driving in the car. He often drives me and takes me to events to speak at, or picks me up from the airport. So we're driving down to Brisbane, and there's 3 lanes. We're in the middle lane. There's a lane on each side. And normally we might sing, we might talk, but this day I had to do some emails. So I was doing my emails, and next minute his head started to turn. And, we've all got peripheral vision. So what I did was I leant back so he could see to change lanes while I was on my phone. But in that instant, I felt this heat come down my arm. I turned around, I said, "What's wrong?" And this is what he said: "You don't have to stiffen up when I'm driving. There's nothing wrong with my driving." And I was like, oh. I said, sorry, I just leant back so you could change lanes. And this is what he said: "Sorry." Now that was it. Now, I talked to him for 2 days and been really upset with him for him yelling at me. But guess what? That dominoed from me, because I made up a story that he was going to change lanes. Now, maybe he was going to ask me a question, or turn the radio up, or put on the air conditioning. And he made up a story. Yes, sometimes he drives up the gutters, It was together for years. He made up a story that I was stiffening up because he was doing something wrong. He knew he wasn't doing anything wrong. So this is how quickly he made up a story for me that I was stiffening up, and I made up a story for him that he needed to change lanes. So I want you to think about it the next time you get into an argument with someone. What was your reaction that triggered this? Because if I leant back and then said, "Do you need to," there wouldn't have been an issue, would there? Now, husbands and wives can fight for up to 2 days because of the raise of an eyebrow at the wrong time. True story. So we do need to self-reflect and start to see and be present in those conversations. When we're not present, something gets picked up the wrong way. The third thing for conscious practices is to make sure that we create habits. In COVID, the most important thing was creating a habit, getting up at a certain time, going for the walk, having a shower, getting dressed, creating habits that were still very healthy, choosing healthy foods, giving yourself 5 minutes meditation or whatever you need, but making sure that you create a habit with it. One of my habits, and I think most of you would be, get up in the morning, make the bed, empty the dishwasher. We've got to create some habits.
True.
Not for every minute of the day, but just some routine practices. Human beings really need that. Use we, the fourth thing, use we, not me. If it's all about me, no one wants to hear about it and you're never going to be happy and you won't have good mental wealth. It is about we, because you know what? We are all in this together. And the fifth thing is ego, let it go, right? If you have to be right, you're never going to be happy. There are just times, just let it go and see what happens. See what happens if you give up being right all the time. I bet you create more win-wins and have a happier life.
Okay. So that thanks, Catherine. You have opened the bin of worms, and I think this argument word is something that I'm going to pick up for the next speaker. So yes, let's go to Indu and understand how arguments can lead to a better mental wealth, or it will create more havoc in your life. So over to you, Indu.
So I'll always quote what is being taught to us. There's something called balance. So you need to understand that creative expression and expressing ourselves sometimes is important, right? Ignoring those arguments just for the sake of handling the current situation and then growing them inside may become a bomb blast in future, right? So that's one. So in my practices, I have seen many people doing that just to save that 5 minutes of argument, right? But that's not again the solution. Arguments are bound to happen. Difference of opinions are going to happen. If there are, in our sayings, we say if there are 5 utensils, they will make noise, right? They will always have difference of thoughts. If there is a board, one vice president is arguing on some kind of budget, and then the other person is saying, no, we cannot spend money in it. We don't have that much of budget. What are you talking about? These kind of argumentations and discussions are always going to be the part of our lives. Now, if you're asking how can we handle it, I think as Catherine has said very rightly, it's all about self-reflection. I believe in making mistakes, but understanding that I or somebody else ignoring others and introspecting that, yes, I have already made a mistake. So there is a possibility in a heated argument, you may say something, but then next morning, it is very important that you have a conscious discussion with yourself and have courage to go back, keeping your ego aside, keeping all those things, all those 5 senses through which we operate aside, and thinking that, this family or this team or this organization or this relationship is important, going back and talking again, right? You cannot always avoid arguments. That's what I feel. But yes, you can be conscious. See, I'll give you one example. So I always quote this example. Sometimes when my daughter is doing something and I'm really angry, she's not listening, I'm in a meeting, she's making noise, and I was like, okay, I just want to shout on her right now. And in our culture, we do not have ban on spanking the kids, so we can do that, right? So sometimes I have that urge. So now there is a fraction of difference between our thought and our reaction. If we can catch hold on that fraction, we can actually handle it nicely. I have to be louder on her. I have to discipline her. But then I can avoid screaming because of my anger or irritation. I can be more meaningful. I can be more demonstrative to her. That's what I feel about arguments. When there is a difference of opinion, whether it is at the workplace because of some egos, some kind of different opinion differences, or any arguments because of relationships, or any chaos which may happen in everybody's life, that's okay, that is bound to happen.
True.
But that fraction of difference of the moment when you are going to react and you are already thinking in your mind, that gives you the sanity to control your argument, and that's your
Correct.
power. You must bank on that power of that moment.
Cool. That's a good insight. And you said keeping your ego aside, you have to move on and reflect. But trust me, it's extremely difficult to keep the ego aside because it's your integral part of life. That's how you grow.
Yes.
So Kathy is smiling in there, but probably we'll get back to Kathy a little later. Let's go to Vinay and understand the importance of argument. So probably he's been in the business for a long time. So any argument, Vinay, that has turned into an opportunity where you have reflected and reacted positively, which has actually helped you in taking a prudent decision in your business?
Well, I think conflicts are part of life, Ganesh. We can't avoid it. As I said earlier also, understanding the other person actually eliminates some of the conflicts, but you cannot ever run away from the conflicts. So just to give you a few examples, I used to work for I used to work for a company called Blockbuster in the US, and one of the thing that I was thinking, I was a software engineer at that time, and I always used to think that okay, one day I need to become a project manager, one day I need to become a group manager, and all those things, but I realized that I was not being considered for one of those positions, but somebody else was considered. So that was an initial conflict between the two people. Unknowingly, we started getting into an argument with the other person because I was not too happy that, okay, I should be there, he should not be there. So those things started happening. But what happened over the course of time, I think it was almost 3 months or so, my manager probably noticed what is happening with me, and he spent a lot of time sitting with me to understand what's going on. Why is Vinay not performing at his best? And we went through those discussions, and he realized that what he told me was very, very interesting. He said, "Well, look, you are very good as a technical person. I respect what you bring to the table as a technologist, but there are a lot of management skills that are not there yet." So going from India, we are always taught about education, we talk about technology, our logic is good, our maths is good and all the stuff. But our education system was not structured to teach all the marketing, sales, and management skills. And that is what he said, okay, management is about planning. Management is about execution. Management is about knowing people and getting the work done. See, you as an individual, you can get your work done. But if I ask you today, Vinay, all of this, what you are doing today, has to be done by 10 other people. You don't know how to get those things done from others. You can work 24 hours and get those things done by yourself. That was thing that I learned on that day. I was like, wow, I never looked at it from this perspective. And that is when I decided, okay, I need to learn the management. I need to learn about the people skills. I need to learn about how do I deal with these conflicts and how do I control my emotions and give space for others. So I would say the positive outcome of that whole experience from that point onwards has been always look from a learning opportunity perspective. Every conflict has a learning. Every conflict brings out what you should have done better. Every conflict probably tells you that, you know what, this is a point of view from another person's perspective. Did you take a look at that? Those are some of the things that have helped me over the time, and that happens with the business also. So sometimes, without understanding why somebody is asking, oh, this needs to get delivered by the such and such date. Many times we all keep complaining, man, the customer doesn't even understand this cannot be done in 3 months.
True.
But we do not know why they're asking for the 3 months, right? So going down the path of understanding their world, and going down the path of understanding why 3 months is important for them, what all is tied to that business decision of, okay, it has to get done by 3 months. Those are some of the things that I've learned over the course of time. And I think now now I always approach every conflict with a mindset that, okay, I need to get into this conflict, learn. I need to get into the conflict so that I want to show to all the counterparts that I'm not running away from the conflict. I'm here to solve the problem. And I want to stay true to the point that we are here to solve business problems using technology, right? That's the first point. So that's how I approach every problem today.
Thanks, Vinay. Good insight, and certainly yes, conflicts and issues related at work could be handled positively, and certainly what you're seeing today is a huge jump from 5 people to 1,000 people, and started your operations in Dubai and Singapore. So congratulations, it's working out.
Thank you.
Moving to Micheal. Micheal, yes, there we have been talking about conflicts, we have been talking about arguments. When it comes to healing, how does it impact healing, or how are these? As in, I want to ask you, are these interconnected for healing people?
Okay, as for the healing part, we're looking back into this traditional medicine. Actually, modern medicine can complement with a traditional medicine as well.
Okay.
Okay, as you all understand, Ayurveda, we're talking about body, mind, and spirit. But a lot of people neglect the spirit part of this healing. Okay, when I talk about spirit, I'm talking about divination, right? Like this Muniswaran. Do you know this deity, Muniswaran, servant of Shiva, and also this Kalima. Yes. Okay. These are actually deities which, on top of being complemented with this traditional medicine, actually or expedite your healing even faster. Now, the most common, actually, it's no secret that these herbs and spices, when you have the right combination, it can actually boost your immunity, as I've experienced before. Because we have cases of patients who are already in a critical period where it's between life and death.
Correct.
Right? Because if we were to call an ambulance and send them to the hospital, they may not live. So we come out with this. I come out with this concoction. Okay, it's a combination of turmeric, black pepper, as well as ginger. So it's mixed together in a warm water and let the patient drink. And all the patient needs to do is rest for 2 hours, and they'll be okay already. It is that simple. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, true.
The divinity side, for me, I am a devotee of both Muniswaran and Kalima.
True.
Right? So I pray to them that this potion will be able to help.
True.
Right? The fellow those who are ailing. And it's true. Even now, if you were to look, there's a professor in India. Actually, I got to know from my friend, Mr. Moon. Okay. This professor confessed that this concoction actually helped a lot of people in India.
True.
And this traditional medicine, it's nothing. It's not what we call a magic potion or whatsoever. It's something that we consume every day.
Every day. True.
It's every day. But problem is that it's always this modern science. All those modern science try to debunk. They say that it's quack medicine.
True.
Because they try to debunk, you must remember, who are the biggest companies that actually employ all these so-called medical specialists, the big pharma.
True.
Right? They can do a lot of things. Take for example, another example, like cow urine, cow dung. Have you heard of any report people dying from applying this using cow urine, cow dung? None, because this medicine has been ongoing for thousands of years.
True.
Right? You can even touch what we call the cow dung, and just wash your hand and consume. You won't die of what we call any infection whatsoever.
True.
Even like those are ancient. We don't talk about ancient India, ancient Chinese, right? The Mongols, they even consume human urine. I mean, babies, toddlers, and for health purposes. So
True.
modern medical medicine, you don't have to look far. It's in your kitchen. All I have to do is have the right concoction, right measurement.
Right measurement. Correct. Correct.
And on top of that, there's another way. If you want to continue to eat, what we call boost your immunity, okay, sunrise.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah,
every
sunrise is the
sunrise, that's where you get the most potent vitamin D's.
true.
In scale, there's a what we call, there's a term for it, Surya Bhagwan. Am I right? So
Yeah,
this, even scientists are trying to figure out a way, because it has anti-cancer properties. Actually, turmeric has a lot of beautiful properties. That is the source of longevity among those who consume them, who consume it.
True.
Right? So it's a superfood. Turmeric is actually a superfood. So
True.
let me break down these three items. Turmeric, okay, is a superfood. Right? It will boost your immunity. Black
True.
pepper is to assist the turmeric to spread throughout your entire body system.
Okay.
And ginger is to balance out. Because why? You have black pepper that's heaty and gassy. So you need ginger to balance out, to blow out, to create an equilibrium.
True. So probably I would have Micheal. What I would urge you is probably you can collaborate with Indu and team up to come out with a better solution, because certainly you're talking about immunity, and Indu has been talking about immunity for more than a year, and in fact her research on immunity has been extreme, as in she has been into the healthcare space for more than 10 years. So this collaboration would be extremely important for people like us to be exposed to a better medicine opportunities in future.
Of course, we deserve better. We cannot wait. We cannot wait for these modern medications to cure us.
True.
I do not know whether you agree or disagree with me. Modern medicines are not meant to cure. It's to prevent. It's to slow down. But for traditional medicine, there's a ultimate goal, is to cure.
True.
Along with the spirit, you need to have a balance of spirit. For me, these are Muniswaran and Kalima. They are my guardian angel, my archangels. When I pray to them, my prayers are answered. Right? Okay. For example, this is my own testimony. Last September 2020, I had this very bad, because I'm a diabetic, see. I had very bad leg ulcers all over my left leg. Okay? From my thighs to my toes. And I'm supposed to have kidney failure. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm supposed to have kidney failure, and I'm not supposed to live past my 46th year. I'm supposed to have left this world last year.
Oh, okay.
Own testimony that I kept on having the faith. no modern medication during the time. Only I took it sporadically.
True.
But I kept on. I prayed to Molloy. Okay. And months, all my wounds are healed without any medication.
Okay. Thanks, Ketan, for that. Really inspiring and good fight particular disease. Disease fighting a disease happens. No medicine is better medicine. So I think let's have any message that you one if you have a message that listeners, it would be. So we can start.
So for everybody out there, around the world right now, take the time to create some great, healthy habits. Keep that hope forefront in mind, whatever it is that you want to do. Stopping is the slowest speed. So don't let fear be anything that holds you back right now. Face everything and rise, and just spend that time being conscious each day, and stepping forward into whatever it is that you would love to do, because the world still is very abundant. Okay, and I wish everyone much success. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, Indu.
Yeah, so I would like to say that education is the bliss. The more you understand yourself and your mind, the more you can operate within yourself and out there in the world with 100% efficiency. We all are made up of 5 elements: space, air, water, earth, and Agni, fire, right? And these 5 elements are there in us, and it is outside as well. The more you understand the sync between these two, the more you operate better with your body, with your profession, with your relationship. So it should be a fundamental right of everybody to have this education, which is being given by our sages 5,000 years back, and it has been lost. So I always ask people to initiate a journey of knowing your own elements so that you can operate with the elements outside in a better manner.
Thank you, Indu, for that one. Yes, moving to Vinay.
Well, I think one of the things that we have seen over the course of last 17-18 months is it's very difficult to be locked up in the house all the time, and we as human beings need people to interact with. So 18 months have also shown us how to get out and help people. I think being conscious about those decisions is something that everybody should take care of. While the government and the systems are trying to put things in place, they're trying to provide some guidelines, they're trying to do everything in their power with the limited supply of medicines. It's our duty to adhere to some of the guidelines provided too. We have to practice some of the safety guidelines, some of the vaccination guidelines that have been provided. This is very important for us to help others. It is important to understand the fact that what we are dealing with is not an easy thing to fix. There is one question that I saw which is saying that, okay, is COVID and mask and are going to be around for a long time? We really don't know. I mean, unless everybody gets vaccinated. Just think of it. India alone has 130 crore people, which is a combination of multiple countries' population put together. When we look at the size of such a population getting vaccinated, we're looking at vaccinating multiple countries at one go, right? So there are some challenges like that. So we all need to realize that fact. This second wave also has shown us that things are a little serious. A lot of people got impacted during this season. So we cannot live like this forever. Obviously, we have to get back to a little bit of a normal life than what we are dealing with currently. So take take utmost care of yourself, just like how they tell you in the aeroplane when you board the plane. They always give you that oxygen wearing mask instruction. First wear the mask yourself and then help the others, right? It's just the same thing that goes on with the current situation too. If you are able to take care of yourself today, you can take care of others too. So stay healthy, have that mental peace, the mental well-being is very, very important. And once you are healthy and once you are vaccinated, you can take care of others too. So do follow those guidelines and stay safe.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you for that one. Yes, Michael. Awaiting for your inputs.
It's just very simple. Have a balance of these three elements: body, mind, and spirits. On top of that, do not take too much. I see that too many people value the opinion of these social media comments, which also is the main cause of this mental trauma. You see, for them, majority of the people, they are too attached already to their electronic gadgets.
True.
Anyone's opinion, okay, is sensitive for them. That it makes them doubt their own value. Right? You are your own savior. Do not take the opinion. Take the best, throw the rest. That's it. Don't take any other garbage and pile it upon yourself. It makes your life miserable. Then that's not ideal. But I really appreciate for this opportunity, right? That, to get to know you all, to learn from each other. That we can collaborate a better way to help our community.
True. Thanks, Michael, for that one. So, guys, we have 1 hour plus, and we wish we could continue for a longer span, but probably it's quite late in Australia, and Kathy has not yawned as yet. But I'm sure if we keep her waiting, she's not going to like it. So let's let's end this session on a very quick note on mental wealth, which is extremely important. Let's talk about how, as in we did speak about how arguments could lead to a lot of other challenges, and we need to keep extremely, we need to have a lot of consciousness, peace of mind within to tackle COVID. So let's hope that we don't talk about COVID anymore, and let's individually fight it out. Make sure that it's going to be out of our ecosystem very soon. Thanks, Vinay, for having such a wonderful platform where we have been interacting with 1,000+ people from across the globe. Thanks, Catherine. Yes, we're looking forward. I have already put in the link on the chat so that people can quickly go and grab the copy of your book. Indu, congratulations for your new venture. We hope to see it empowering more people in the future. Michael, please keep healing. Yes, we need people with a mindset where modern medicine is questioned, and certainly there's a way out of healing people with different ways of medicines and cures. And yes, it's important that we take care of ourselves to fight COVID. So thank you, everyone. See you soon. Thank you, people who have joined in from various parts of the world. Extremely thankful to all of you for taking us time out, and sorry to people from Australia who have been parting, who could miss who missed this particular session. We will put this video live very soon, and we'll share the link with you all. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Indu. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank
you, Michael. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone else who joined us for Chai with Vinay Part 3, COVID Conundrum. We hope to have few more coming up, and extremely thankful for the organizers, Adhika, Taruna, and the team who have been tirelessly working hard to get Michael on board, because there were some technical glitches. So we could get him finally. Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Bye.